TIFU by being a woman. For some background before we get into the nitty-gritty of it, I'd like to disclose some info. I, 21F, work at a research institute. At our institute, for whatever reason, the design of most rooms is very open concept, organic, and uses white as the primary coloring for tables and furniture. There is a lot of glass walls and almost all offices are glass floor to ceiling, with an option to use curtains for privacy from the hallways. I assume this design choice as well as the interior decorating decisions were made to reflect a sense of cleanliness and precision, very in line with science and research. My issue is that I happen to be on my period today. And while that is not normally an issue besides the pain and symptoms from my endometriosis, today was something unique. I had a lengthy meeting with a coworker that I was collaborating with on an experiment, and we settled into an open area in one of the cafe ESC areas of our facility with couches and an espresso machine. Now I knew we would be having this meeting and I changed into a new menstrual pad beforehand to prevent having to get up and excuse myself mid-meeting. About 45 minutes after sitting down, we were both done for the day and rose to leave the area and return to our respective laboratories. However, when I stood, I noticed something in the corner of my vision. Somehow, my flow managed to pierce through my pad, underwear, and jeans onto the white, porous, leather couch I was sitting on. A series of large streaked reddish-brown stains were slathered across where I had been sitting. While it was fairly localized, anytime I had adjusted in my seat, something I do often, I'm a pretty fidgety gal, it seemed that I was further smearing around my own period product onto the couch. My coworker saw it as well and it didn't quite click with him what it was. He asked if I had sat in something, to which I said no. He seemingly realized after a moment of staring and mentioned that he had to return to his lab. I, however, stayed behind. I tried to clean the mess with a wet paper towel from the neighboring bathroom to no avail. Then had to put in a request to our environmental health and safety team. As blood is a biohazard and it is in the open, I had to inform them of the incident so a trained professional could remove it ASAP or remove the couch. When I put in a request in our online portal, still standing around with a bloody ass, trying to hide it by leaning against the corner of the room, supporting myself on my shoulders, almost bending backward to avoid smearing my ass on the wall. A biosafety officer called almost immediately. We have about 2 to 3 biosafety officers available around the clock in case of lab emergencies. In the online forms we have, there are vague questions about any spills of chemical or biohazardous origin, and we submit our cell phone number to be contacted by a safety officer to be given instructions on what to do until the appropriate professional can arrive. I had called them once before months ago when someone had spilled Trizzle in our lab. The man who called me in regards to the online report I had submitted asked me why there was a blood spill, how much, etc., and was inquisitive as to why this spill was not in a location where blood is stored, experimented on, observed or transported through, and began to explain to me the importance of keeping blood samples in designated rooms to adhere to safety guidelines. I then had to explain to his man that it was my blood, to which he asked, a bit more frantically, if I was still injured, and if he should contact security and an ambulance. Security is trained in basic first aid and keeps injured individuals company until an ambulance arrives. I then had to inform him that I was fine and explain that it was period blood. After a few extra painfully long seconds of silence, he replied, "Ah, I see. We will have someone to clean that up soon." I exchanged more info about what lab I'm from and the exact couch location before ending the phone call. I immediately went to the coats room, got my things, and went home, ignoring the fact that I was getting blood on the inside of my long jacket. TL, Doctor, I bled on a white couch at work, in an open area, and my male coworker saw it all happen. I don't have endo, but a light flow. I know not the same at all. But didn't realize until halfway through my new factory shift that I had bled through my pants and didn't have a sweater to cover it. Didn't want to lose my job, so I grabbed a pad out of the vending machine and hoped no one looked close enough at my butt to see the mess through my shift. Lived 45 minutes from work and had a 30 minutes lunch. So there wasn't much I could do without losing the new job. But wait, there's more. At the end of my shift I had a flat tire and had to wait for a tow truck for 2 hours. Here's my misery to hopefully make yours lighter. You did the best you could in this situation. Don't be too hard on yourself. He probably just didn't know how to react without making you uncomfortable. I wouldn't worry about him judging you for it. In your shoes, I would be super embarrassed too for making a mess. I get it. But at the end of the day, a little period blood is no big deal. It happens. I think most guys eventually get in a situation where their girl gets their period during the night. So they wake up on slightly bloody sheets or something. Normal stuff. Just sucks. Who the fuck has all white couches? That's just a sneeze away from being a Rorschach test. All that fuss when you could have just flipped the cushion over? I promise I won't write a blood pun. Period. Oof. Aunt Flo can be such a sneaky witch. For what it's worth, it sounds like you handled this with lots of grace. Which is really hard to do when you're still waking around with blood-stained clothes on and trying to keep composure. Well done. TIFU is wrong here because you did nothing BG wrong and reacted very professional. Don't be ashamed about you coworker seeing it. Men know what can happen and will understand without asking question in this manner. God, getting an IUD was the best thing I ever did. I can't go back to having periods. I'll cut this bitch uterus right out if it ever stops working. As a dude, I know that 99% of other dudes I know wouldn't care in the slightest. We would, however, be awkward AF. Because we would panic about doing the wrong thing. Should I comfort her? Should I pretend I didn't see? Should I help? Which ends up frying our brains and then we freeze. Then awkwardly and slowly back away hoping you don't judge us for freezing up. Then every time you see us after and we seem awkward, it's because we think we think something bad of you and are overcompensating, which results in awkwardness. If that was confusing to you, then our being awkward is us trying to internally process that sentence while talking to you. I'm an interior designer by trade. I'm surprised that in a lab there are real leather sofas and not bleach cleanable vinyl that looks like leather in a commercial facility. This is disappointing to hear as a professional. I hope they are able to remove the blood. Something similar happened to a task chair for a client, so it happens. Geez, I'm so sorry you had to go through all that. I too would have been mortified. You handled it like a champ though. With my social anxiety I have no clue what I would have done. I also work in a research facility. So far haven't gotten my period that bad yet while at work. Now as I type this, I'm sure tomorrow I'll have the floodgates of hell open and will be forced to leave the country. I'm sorry that happened to you. Like a previous poster noted, be kind to yourself. Things happen. You did not foo. You tried to do your job. I once had what I would describe as a small hemorrhage standing in the grocery store with my 2 Young sons. I left the cart, bolted with them, and left blood in the parking lot and in my car. The boys were scared and I had to have a sit down with them after we got home and I got cleaned up. I was expecting so much worse. Phew. Nice to read a reasonable TIFU with sensible professionals and nobody losing their job or getting discriminated against. You did what you could. Although it was uncomfortable. I'm on my period right now as well, and yesterday I had to take a 10-minute break only to go to the toilet. Since I managed to forget to grab a new toilet paper roll before using the bathroom. And only realized after sitting down on the toilet. That's where it went wrong. Stood up from the toilet. Didn't realize the flow was heavier than usual and managed to get blood all over my underwear and on the floor. The bathroom floor looked like I just murdered someone in there. Got the toilet paper. Cleaned it all. Changed the underwear and pad and then came back to my work laptop after what must have seemed like an eternity. Luckily my boss is female, so she understood. I always tell people I got a nosebleed if I ever leave blood anywhere. Not to say it happens often, but the couple times it has, I've gotten away with nosebleed. Wow. That's just an occupational hazard. And I'm so sorry that this happened to you. I have endometriosis, too. And that's really not how you want to have to deal with colleagues when something like this happens. I really hope that you got some chocolate and a heating pad as a nice balm for yourself when you got home. I feel like you could have avoided all this by being a modern woman with a penis. Sending you love. Stuff happens. I don't have endometriosis, but I personally like to double up and wear both a tampon and a pad on my heavy days. YKNW. Just in case. Yeah. Periods suck. I got my first one at 11 and it's been hell every month since then for so many reasons. Even without the times of bled through my pads plus underwear plus trousers. I feel hot and flustered the whole 10 days and I'm always in some degree of pain. And just the general wet feeling down there is so goddamn uncomfortable. Sorry this happened to you. Not a foo. Maybe an accident. You'll be fine. This is just another reason why talking about periods should be normalized. You know, instead of viewing it as shameful or something to be hidden. The staff that had to do the cleaning were probably waiting for something like this to happen with all the white.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.